Welcome to Look Movie Recaps. Today I'm explaining a 2022 action, thriller and vengeance film. Keep spoilers alert. We start with a happy family celebrating the birthday of their daughter Kat. Her parents William and Jen are so excited for their daughter turning 16. William and Kate are having a father-daughter time playing their favorite sport, softball. Mom calls them for dinner. While at dinner, her parents express their concern of her love for softball, yet they want her to focus on academics, but she tells them she can balance both. Elsewhere at the street club, a notorious gang leader, Donnie Fetter, is punishing a man that messed with his business who he shoots and he dies on spot. Later his two sons come to meet him. Rory the eldest and Danny. Danny is given a gun and he is being introduced to the streets. He needs to kill one person to unveil his criminal potential, so as to be accepted and respected by his dad. Going back to the Duncans, William is driving her daughter back home after the game. He decides to stop over for tacos to celebrate her daughter winning the game. When he reaches the Mexican restaurant, he tells Kat to stay in the car and he went to pick the tacos. On the other hand, the gang led by Rory has approached the same location, escorting Danny to make his fast kill. Kat notices an unusual environment with the gang approaching her, so she locked herself inside. They moved out of their car with guns, and when she saw them armed, she tried to run to her dad, but they captured her. She pleads to spare her life, offering money and everything. She is only an innocent girl, but it doesn't matter because they all regard her as Danny's fast kill. He does not stop at anything, rather he shows determination to kill her. He shoots her and William hears the shots and immediately runs outside. He finds Danny frozen and can't move because of what he just did. William shoves him down, but Danny manages to hit him and tries to run, but fortunately police had arrived and Danny gets arrested. At the hospital, William and Jane receive the frightening news of their daughter's demise. Later, William meets with the prosecutor to try find a suitable punishment for Danny, presumably execution. The prosecutor insists that there is no hard evidence because no gun was found at the crime scene. William got a concussion during the incident, so his evidence is considered null. The prosecutor further tells him not to push for a trial in court, or Danny will end up moving free, because of lack of evidence to pin him down, rather to take a plea deal that will see him get imprisoned for less than 7 years. Later in the court, William deliberately refuses to identify the person he engaged with, by saying he can't identify him on the day her daughter was killed, so he can take the justice into his own hands. The judge dismisses the case and Danny gets his freedom back. He meets his dad and he approves him as a man and tells him that he can now control the streets. On their way, William follows them and waits until night to carry out his plan. A prostitute by the names of Luna approaches him to inquire if he needs her services, but he declines. After some while, Danny moves out of the building and this is William's opportunity to take him down, which he takes. He drives over him and he breaks his leg. He moves out with a bat and hits him multiple times until he kills him, and then he leaves. When he returns home, he immediately cleans his car and he gets rid of any evidence that may connect him to his crime. He enters their house and finds his wife watching their family videos. Jen asks him if he is fine. He confirms he is fine and he enters the washroom to clean himself up, but suddenly he broke into tears, grieving for his daughter but at the same time remorseful of what he has just done. On the other hand, Rory gives Donnie money he collected from the streets, but Donnie seems unpleased for it being not enough. While he leaves Donnie's office, he gets informed by his gang that Danny was murdered. He rushes to the crime scene to confirm. On reaching, he confirms after seeing his brother in a body bag. The next day, Detective Chen meets William at his home suspecting him of having murdered Danny, but William informs him that he was at home last night. His wife confirms it. However, after he leaves, Jen faces him and asks him where he was exactly. This ended up in a heated argument. Back at the club, Rory can't settle not until he finds the murderer of his brother. Luna reveals to him that he saw a Navis man parked outside, and when Rory showed her William's photo, she confirms him being the one she saw, and he orders his men to hunt him down. The next day, they found him and pointed a gun at him, but he seemed to have noticed them already and he encounters them and then runs away while they are shooting at him. He is caught at last and he is put at gunpoint again. William, while struggling for his life, he manages to kill one of Rory's mates and he escapes again. Rory follows him with bullets. Fortunately, a passing police car arrives and Rory disappears with his wallet. When he reaches home, he tries to lock the entire house. When Jane asks him what is going on, he tells her that somebody wants to kill him. She tells him to call Detective Chen. Elsewhere at the crime scene where Detective Chen is at, he finds out that the newly found victim is one of Rory's boys. And right there William calls and asks him to proceed to his house. When he reaches, he informs him of how he is aware of him killing Danny. He further tells him that he just started a war and he can't escape it. William tells him that he doesn't want his wife involved in this, but Chen replied to him that you would have thought about it before you begun. He further reads his file that shows he is an ex-Marine and mentions that looks like you can handle yourself. Detective Chen leaves him with 2 officers to protect him the entire night. Elsewhere, an unknown person comes to a certain garage with a fancy car, presumably wanting to sell it to his acquaintance who is a car smuggler, but he didn't have money at a time. Rather traded it with guns. At William's house, her wife is eager to know what's going on with him. William tells her that he killed that kid that murdered their daughter and that they are after him. Shortly, the police officers that were supposed to give them protection for the night are distracted and they drove away. Rory and his father got a chance to come finish off the Duncans. Immediately they reach, Donnie shoots Jen and she dies right away, and Rory shoots William 2 times and he went laughing thinking he had finished him. Fortunately William was still alive, so he managed to crawl to the phone and called 911, and they came to his rescue. Later, while at the hospital, Detective Chen visited him and called him a miracle man for surviving the bullets that were shot at him. He further tells him that the world knows he is dead, so he either keeps it that way or continues with his revenge. After he is able to walk again, he disguises in janitor's clothes and he escapes from the hospital. From there, he leases a motel room while he is planning for his next step on the Redders. He meets with Dante, a guy we saw exchange a car with guns. William asks him whether he knows where he can find a gun and he told him that he is in the right place. He sold him all his guns at 10 grand. He later told him that he also has a grudge on the Fetters because they killed his cousin 3 years ago. He later asked for Dante's generational jacket and a car. He went somewhere quiet to sharpen his shooting skills since it has been a while. When time came for him to carry out his revenge, he fast visited his family graves to express his sorrow and give his tribute. He then prepares to go attack Zach, Rory's right-hand man. He enters his house and they engage into a combat fight. Zach proves to be more powerful than William. Shortly, William gets a chance and he uses it well, so Zach finds himself begging for his life. He begs him to call ambulance because he was severely injured. William tells him to fast direct him where Rory is, then he will call ambulance, but when he tells him, he shoots him and kills him and then he leaves. Later the police shows up at the crime scene, and when Detective Chen identified the deceased as one of the Fetter boys, he rushed to go meet Donnie to warn him and his son about William, who they thought they had killed, but he is very much alive and he is after them. When Chen goes out, Donnie orders his son to hunt down and kill him. William had already arrived at the Fetter's place and he saw Detective Chen move out of their den, which made him think that he works for them. He follows him to his destination and he grabs his gun and points it at him, and he starts interrogating him. Chen denies working for the Fetters and he tells William that he only went there to tell them about the death of Zach. William tells him to get out of his way or else the next time he finds him, he will shoot him. He further tells him that he will bring himself in after he has finished what he started, and he left. Later at the Fetter Club, they have collected all the manpower they can get to go hunt down William. After they leave, William is already in the same place. He acts as a drunkard and comes close to the guard of the club. He beats him and finds his way inside. He goes direct to Donnie's office. When Donnie sees him, his heart skipped for a while, but with less options. He tells him to shoot him and get over it, which William does with pleasure. He gets his phone and phones Rory, giving him the news of his father's demise, but Rory seemed not shocked. They turned their vehicles back to the club to find William. They arrived with full force, went to Donnie's office and found him dead. They immediately went looking for William, and a shootout started. William was able to take out some of the Fetter boys. When he got a chance, he took one hostage so he can escape, but Rory shot his boy himself, indicating he doesn't care about anyone. In that diversion, William is able to flee the place, but he was shot in the shoulder. He finds his car amidst flying bullets, and he drove away. When he reaches the motel, he decides to go up get some treatment. When Dante saw his friend struggling, he decided to go give him some assistance. Unfortunately, Luna, the lady from Rory's club, was seeing and she ratted him out to Rory. Inside William's room, Dante is trying to extract a bullet from William's shoulder and he does it well. Outside we see Rory arriving at the motel with his crew. They went to the reception and asked the guy whether he knew William. When he said no, Rory shot him dead. He started calling his name while stood on the car. At this moment William and Dante are aware that Rory has brought the war to their place. He tries to aim a shot towards Rory but he misses. Unfortunately they locate them and they start shooting towards them. They move out of the room and start exchanging bullets with Rory's gang. They manage to get inside their car and flee the place, but Rory's gang is on their tail. While on the road, they continue exchanging bullets, realizing that they have no place to go. Dante calls his friend Roach the smuggler and tells him that he has company, and he is heading towards them. Roach is happy to help his friend. Immediately he arms his crew and they wait for them to arrive. Dante arrives and he is allowed inside and then they shoot at Rory's crew. They have no choice but to back down. Inside Roach's garage, he is applauding William for killing the Fetters. When Rory slams down their entrance and enters forcefully, they go into a gunfight that is survival for the fittest. After the blaze up, Rory was left standing and shooting anyone still moving. Now he is looking for William. Eventually, he moves out wanting to engage Rory but he saw him and shot him right away. While lying in pain, he attempts to reach for his gun but Rory didn't let him. When Rory knelt down to finish him, he again stretched for a screwdriver and he stabs Rory unaware in the neck. He loses a lot of blood and he fights for his life while he takes his last breath. Shortly police arrives and while William is surrendering to Detective Chen, he's also been shot severely and lost a lot of blood. He also dies after completing his fight. The film ends. If you watched this far, thank you. Subscribe for more recaps. Have a great day.